Yeah, it should be recording. Okay. The audio might be a bit worse on this one than my previous video, but that is because this is just a quick video in between longer videos. But to anyone who watched my previous video or anyone who didn't, it doesn't really matter that much. You might have noticed I mentioned a certain word, and I said in the video, escape. I was talking about community and building guilds and finding friendships and stuff like that, and I said a word, and it was the word escapism buddies or drinking buddies, and I promised you or told you that I was going to make a separate video on that topic in the coming week, but I'm just going to upload it the day itself that I upload this the third video that I made about video games, how to turn your life into a video game, or how to view life as a video game more so. So this is just a topic that I wanted to explain quickly, and I do believe there is quite a bit of value in it. I just quickly wrote down some notes about it, so I can understand it better and explain it better to you, because that is the point. I'm trying to improve as much as possible in this YouTube area. My voice might be a little weird because I had to shout very loudly last night, so excuse me for drinking a bit of water right now. Hope you don't mind, bro. Okay, so let's just hop straight into it. I'm not going to waste any of your time. Time is very valuable, so that's very clear. So I just want to talk about the meaning of friends to me and what it used to be. So my old meaning of friends, and that might still be your definition of friendship. My old definition of friendship used to be people who you just enjoy spending time with, people who share memes with you, people you hang out with and, share experiences with. Often this was just people you met at a location such as school, and these are the people you just hung out with and talked to at school and outside of school, while gaming and stuff like that. That used to be my definition of friends, just people you hang out with and do stuff with. These are all, and they can make you laugh sometimes. These used to be friends to me, and I'm not saying that, I am saying that. It is no longer my definition, and really, friends are supposed to be way more than just people who you hang out with. I think that's pretty clear to most people out watching this. What my new definition now is of friends is friends and friendship are people, especially when it comes to men, they are your brothers. You are close people and you can share experiences with them. Friends are the people that help you become the best version of yourself. As friends, you help each other become the best version of each other, and you lift each other up out of whatever dump you're in. A friend will laugh and smile at you when you're talking about something you've done, and when you've done something that is incredible, like let's say you have problems with alcohol and you quit alcohol for a week. True friends, they'll be so happy for you, and you can see it on their faces. They're your brothers. When there's something concerning happening in your life, they will show concern on their face. These are true friends. They care about you immensely, and they want the absolute best for you, but they don't just want the best for you. They know how to help you get the best, and they actually know what's best for you, unlike what we're going to get into in this video. Having said that, you have your friends, but most likely the friends you have now do not fit the definition of this. I'm not saying they don't have the best intentions for you, but more so, they themselves do not know what the best intentions for you are, and that's what I'm going to explain in this video. The people who are now your friends, we are going to call from now on your drinking buddies or your escapism buddies. I came up with this idea after a friend of mine said he would introduce me to his friends because they're all literal copies of him, so I'll be sure to like him. And I was sitting down, as I often do, just talking to myself for an entire hour straight, talking about this exact concept that I'm going to explain to you in this video. And I couldn't utter the words friends when talking about my friends. Right now I can for the video's sake, but I couldn't utter the word friends, so I had to come up with a different word, and I came up with drinking buddies. So I went into detail in this when talking to myself. I'm not going to do the same thing. I'm not going to make it in such detail. Basically, your escapism or drinking buddies are the opposite of what friends are supposed to be. They don't help you get out of situations. They don't help you when you're in a mess. They don't help you strive to be the best version of yourself, because they themselves do not know what it feels like to become an actual better version. Escapism buddies are your thoughts manifested. Now, what do I mean by this is that your thoughts, your mind actually, is an asshole. That's why self-improvers meditate. It's to not listen to these thoughts, because your thoughts are the same they constantly make excuses for basically everything. Let's be honest. If you plan the workout for the day, you set in your calendar, okay, I'm going to do this workout, your brain will, a few hours before you even do this workout, suddenly start making excuses you didn't have when you set this task in your calendar. Suddenly your mind will start making excuses. And to you, all these excuses sound very fair, because your mind is never going to say something like, oh, we can't do this because you're a fucking pussy. Your mind will always come, it won't do that, I'm sorry, it won't ever do something like that. It will always find a logical excuse for you to use. Yeah, I can't run outside today because it's cold. It's raining. But you planned yesterday in your calendar that you were going to run today. You could have checked the weather then, but you specifically chose to plan it on this date, on this time, and you refused to do it because now it's raining. Go run in the rain. It's not like it's poisonous. And so these are our thoughts. Our thoughts are the same thoughts that convince us to watch porn because, I'm just gonna watch, I'm just gonna laugh at it, or I'm just gonna scroll. You'll end up relapsing, obviously. So your drinking buddies or escapism buddies are these thoughts, obnoxious thoughts, manifested as people. When you say something to them like, I don't drink alcohol, and they'll ask why, no, it's not good for anything, they'll come up with excuses as to why it is good. As I said in my previous video, my friends will give an example, but it's good for everyone's drinking alcohol, so it's okay, it's good for being more social. And they'll just come up with excuses. They don't have the worst intentions for you, but these people just don't know any better. They are your thoughts manifested because they have the same thoughts as you. But unlike you, they still listen to those thoughts. And thus they are your thoughts manifested. The thoughts that you are trying to escape, you hang out with constantly. There is a quote that goes, you are the average of the 5% of people you spend time with. If you're spending time with people that are your obnoxious loser thoughts manifested, you are just going to end up becoming those thoughts once again. You get what I'm saying here? I'm not saying these people don't have the best intentions or worst intentions. I'm not saying any of this. It's just that these people are not in a physical way, but actually just more in a personal way. They are dangerous to you. Not on the basis that they'll suddenly attack you or something. They are dangerous to you because they could genuinely ruin your life. And that is how they can never be friends, because friends never ruin each other's lives. In fact, they amp up, they level up each other's lives. That's what friends are for. Now, because they are your thoughts manifested, and they have the same thought, and you're with them, they will help you run away from your problems. When you are facing problems, they will help you run away from those problems in fear. Let's say you're going through a breakup, a heavy breakup. These drinking buddies of yours, as the name suggests, they will help you cope with that instead of, let's go to the gym, man. Let's go to the gym, let's have a good talk about this, and let's find you some stuff to get over this and build more confidence and all that. And or explaining that rejection is actually good, because the next time you'll have, let's say you leveled up in this sort of skill. It's not a very nice skill to level up in, but it's still a skill in life nonetheless. That's what, your true friends will do, but your drinking buddies will avoid and run away from these problems by, well, drinking, by escaping. That's why they're escapism buddies. They will never help you with your problems. They will only help you escape from your problems. Either by some drug. Video games basically are a drug. They'll do it via social media, video games, alcohol, drugs, partying, junk food, or just any escapism. Anything that has to do with escapism, that's what they'll use to solve your problems. They will never actually help you solve your problems in a beneficial manner. Now, why is that the case? Most people are sheep. As I said, most people don't meditate, so they just listen to their thoughts, and therefore they are their thoughts manifested as people. What we call these people, and this might sound offensive to you, but generally I don't care, because they are what we call sheep. We are not that different from each other. People aren't that different from, you might think they are, but really they're not. Most people are sheep. They're all together in one flock. They all believe alcohol is good. They don't see a problem with porn or partying. Most people are sheep. And therefore your friends are sheep. Your true friends, what would be the perfect scenario, they would be seen as wolves. Why? Because as sheep do, sheep are cowardly, and therefore they run from their problems. Wolves, they bite through them. They bite through their problems like they're just fucking chickens. Like they are sheep. That's what wolves do, and that's why sheep are also scared of these wolves, because they've never seen something like that before. That's not normal in their eyes. Wolves aren't actually, I'm talking in a metaphorical context here, alright? So don't take this in the literal context, but wolves aren't that dangerous. It's just that the sheep observe them as dangerous because they could never do something as dangerous as them. They view these wolves as dangerous because they cannot comprehend what they just did. And that is why they are sheep. Now, if you're watching this, you are on my channel, you are most likely trying to self-improve, or you're on your journey in self-improvement. Therefore, you would no longer be a sheep, but what you'd be right now is what we call a black sheep. That's not race. That's got nothing to do with race. It's just, once again, a metaphor. It's what we would call a black sheep. You are no longer part of the flock. The other sheep will view you as weird for what you're doing. They will question your decisions, and as escapism buddies do, because they're your thoughts manifested, they're so used to running away from problems, they'll try to convince you to run away from your problems once again. That is what they'll do. Most black sheep will quit their journey to becoming wolves simply because the rest of the sheep don't accept them. And there are way more sheep than there are wolves. Let's say you have a gang of like 10 wolves. You have 10,000 sheep. If you're a black sheep and the wolves that really don't know, they're just like, oh, looks like there's a black sheep. They don't really know, they don't really care. They just notice that you're there for a bit, and then they go on with being wolves, tackling more of their problems. But the sheep will notice. So the wolves don't really care. But in your mind and in reality, the sheeps will absolutely see what you're doing, and they will judge you for it immensely. So what most people do when they are black sheep is, because of basically the pressure, and because there are so many sheep that view them as weird, they want to be a part of the flock again. They feel like they're alone, because there are not that many self-improvers, and it's so hard to find these self-improvers, these like-minded people. Feeling alone is the worst thing on earth, so most people will stop their journey there and go back to being a sheep, and go back to hanging out with their escapism buddies and just endure it. Few people will actually continue to become wolves, because, as you might have guessed, that is a very hard thing to do. What I'm recommending is not to become a wolf, as you might have seen the title of this video. So what I recommend, instead of doing either becoming a sheep again or becoming a wolf, it's to be a wolf in sheep's clothing. Innerly, you are a wolf. You are absolutely a wolf, but you have to blend in. You have to blend in. I'm not saying this in a way, I don't know how to explain this properly. Excuse me if I'm having a moment of thoughts. I hope you can forgive me for this, but I have to choose my words carefully, and you have to get as much value out of this as possible. So I need you to understand this. I really do need you to understand this. So for that, I need to word my next phrases properly. Right. It's not so much that you have to pretend like you're a sheep in order to really blend in. That's not really you're innerly, you're a wolf. You are a wolf. You don't have to pretend like you're a sheep. You just have to, how do I say this properly? This is so difficult to explain now. You don't really have to pretend you're a sheep. You just have to kind of blend in. Basically what I'm doing right now is that I still see I thought a lot of my friends were friends. Now I see that only like 3 of my friends are actually friends, and all the others are escapism buddies. I don't ditch these people because in my mind I can ditch them, because I want to help them become wolves or black sheep like me and journey with them together. I don't want to just ditch them. So what I do is I'm a wolf in sheep's clothing. I'm not a full-on wolf that just ditched all of his sheep folk and all of his flock. But I'm not a sheep either. What I am is a wolf in sheep's clothing. I still treat these drinking buddies and escapism buddies right. I still talk to them. And I do mean it. And in their eyes, I am still a sheep. But they in reality don't know that I am a wolf. What it comes down to is hold it to yourself. Hold this knowledge for now. In the future, if you really did improve that much, you can share it with these escapism buddies. But right now, it is not worth the try. Because these people, real escapism buddies, they will escape no matter what. So it is useless to give them this info. You can talk to them, you can hang out with them sometimes. But because you are innerly a wolf, it will just be that. You won't be drinking alcohol while they are. They'll view you weird for this, but you know inside of you that this is the way to go. You know that this is best for you. And while you are hanging out with your escapism buddies, find real friends. Be a wolf in sheep's clothing. When it's time to be a sheep, you are a sheep. It says something similar in the book called 48 Laws of Power. When it is time, it's not in these exact words, but when it is time to be a sheep, you are a sheep. You cannot outshine people. That is one of the first rules in the book, actually. Don't outshine people because they will hate you for it. That is the sort of time you need to be a sheep. You are less than them. But when it's time to be the wolf, you take off the sheep's clothing. Right now, I am the fucking wolf. I don't talk like this and do like this around most of my escapism buddies and even friends, because I'm still on the fence if they're actually friends or escapism buddies. I'm still on the fence on it, so I'm not sure. I don't talk like this to any of them. I only talk like this to you. Many of my friends and escapism buddies are watching this, but this is the time for me to let the wolf out. I know it might sound a bit cringe and everything like that. Let the wolf out! I'm a furry! Hi guys!
guys, I'm a furry.
I'm sorry, that sounded weird. It's probably because of my throat, but you know. There's a time for the sheep and there's a time for the wolf. So I just wanted to explain this term to you so that you can understand. Look at your friends and evaluate your friends. Go through like a list. Go through like a list of things. Do they value me? Or do they bring value to me? Do they accept the value that I bring to them? Have they helped me get out of situations properly? Do they force me into gaming? A way to recognize your escapism buddies or sheep is often because, like I said, often black sheep will go back to being sheep. You will hear the phrase, "I'm happy you're back." What's the exact phrase? There's like an exact phrase people often say when you're like, I'm glad you're back to being your old self. How is that a compliment? As humans, shouldn't we strive to be better than our old selves? How can someone be happy for you that you're back to being your old self? Even when your old self was like the alpha male and now you're being like a drug addict, even then, how can you be glad someone is back to their old self? There is no old self. Even if that happened, like you used to be an absolute Chad when you were like 18, now you're 25 and you're an addict, then you go back to being a Chad and they say, I'm glad you're being your old self again. Even then, that's not a compliment because you're a new self right now. You did way more to achieve this new self than you did your old self. So that can never be a compliment. So when you know, but this is like a very rare scenario when you actually used to be like a very high value person as your old self and now you're being, that's a very rare scenario. Most of the time you used to be an escapist yourself, an escapism buddy yourself, and a sheep yourself. You went on a journey to improve your life, but you quit halfway, and now you're happy you're back to being your old self. Your old sheep-like self that is escaping their problems, not improving their lives, just wasting time playing games. And once again, it's not like these friends don't want the best for you, but they don't know what's the best for you. And innerly, they don't want to be proven wrong. Because if you prove them wrong, that they're wasting their fucking time and their life, that's what they want to absolutely avoid. And that's why they will say something like, I'm glad you're back to being your old self. Because in their eyes, it's like, yes, I knew it. It's impossible to not be a sheep. All these wolves are just wolves by luck. So, take this knowledge. I'm saying this in every video. I like to say it. But take this knowledge and implement it in your own way. Evaluate your friends. Write it down on a piece of paper or something and just see if they fit all the criteria of actual friends or that in reality they are your drinking buddies. Just go down a list. Do they drink? Did they force me to ever drink? Do they force me in playing games? Do they force me into partying and addictions and addicting drugs? Do they force me into this? Do they actually help me in a valuable way? Go down all the criteria. This is for you personally to use and evaluate yourself. Who is your friend and who is your escapism buddies? And with these escapism buddies, be a wolf in sheep's clothing. Tomorrow there will be a new video, and it's a small video, but it's the start of something big. This was Tempest Vanguard once again, signing off.